Joining us today is 9-1 longtime Bellator veteran, Mr. Tyrell Fortune. How are you today, my friend?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, very well. Obviously not as good as you. I know you're training hard and everything. Just came back from training, getting ready to go again. So how's the preparation been so far for April 2nd coming up?
It's been really good, man. This camp, especially, I've made a lot more changes, a lot more sacrifices, just to put in more work and get myself in a better position from my last fight. So I've just been doing everything a lot more running, more training, more gym time, more lifting. Just really ramped up the training this time.
Yeah, so I heard you mention your last fight in there. So do you feel your last win really propelled you to this fight coming up with Matt Mitrione, former UFC fighter, been in Bellator for a little while now. So do you feel that last fight put you in this position where you are today?
Yes and no. And I mean this position in a good way as far as like I get to fight a bigger name guy, but no, as in the sense that I feel like my performance wasn't so good that so people I feel like feel more comfortable accepting a fight against me now.
Mm-hmm. So can you, I guess, explain to us how come you feel your win wasn't as good as you would have liked?
Oh, because I felt like I looked like shit. I felt like I just looked bad as far as the performance. I mean, what a lot of people don't know is before that fight, I was just going through a lot of mental things. So anxiety for me played a big part in that fight, which I've never really experienced performance anxiety before.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I've been an athlete. So that was a big difference for me going into that fight. Um, I mean, before the fight even started, my legs were heavy, exhausted, and I was just mentally drained because I hadn't relaxed. I hadn't settled in to the fight or just the atmosphere itself. I felt very overwhelmed. So for me, it was more of me fighting myself in that fight. I felt like than me actually fighting my opponent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess if you could go back and change something from that fight, is the anxiety something you would just completely wipe out, or as far as your performance, what is something you would try and change if you could?
I mean, really nothing because I still got the win. Because I can't really change. The only thing that would change would be my mental headspace, because my mental headspace blocked me from performing better. Because I went into the fight already drained, tired. I didn't sleep the night before, so just the things leading up to the fight would have been the things I would have changed. The fight itself, you can't really go back and change that. I mean, you gotta respond and react when you're in the cage. So I think I did everything. I did everything right to still get the win in the best way I could. So I wouldn't really change that too much. It would be just the things leading up to the fight, preparing myself, and maybe not even taking the fight. Maybe pushing the fight back a week and fighting in the next week or something like that would have been a better idea. But in this game, you kind of just gotta. I mean, it's a fight, so you gotta go in there. You gotta be willing to fight your own demons and fight another person too.
Yeah, so that brings us to our next question here. Coming up for this fight, April 2nd, what is something you've been working on so that same thing that happened in your previous fight doesn't happen again?
Really just been pushing the cardio and the conditioning to where even if I'm going through that anxiety or I'm stressed out, that my body can still perform at the highest ability because I've pushed myself to that point already. So I'm just not. The biggest thing for me going into that last fight was my legs were already exhausted and I felt like I had already went through my adrenaline dump. So I got into the first round and I'm like, Trevor, like I'm heavy, like I'm tired already. I'm not tired, but I felt exhausted, like I had already did a workout. And he's like, man, your adrenaline already dumped. You just got to fight through it and keep pushing, and you got to be active, So I just tried to make sure that I wasn't giving too much ground and just letting the guy know that, okay, I'm still here. Like I'm still dangerous type of idea. So I would say, I mean, the main thing I'm changing now is just putting my body in a position to where, hey, I'm going in. That last fight was the heaviest I've ever weighed. Going into a fight, I'm already at 254. That's what I just weighed after practice. So I'm just doing things differently, dieting different, more running, conditioning, to where I'm just putting my body in a better position to fight.
Yeah, so like you mentioned in the beginning, you're feeling good and you're feeling ready to go. But this running and the different conditioning you've been doing, do you already feel the differences in your game so far?
100% already. I mean, I started before my camp even started, so it was already something that I had in my mind. And the for me, having like a win, even with feeling it was a bad performance, and then my fight before that having it be a no contest, which to me is another bad performance, and then being knocked out before that, I was like, man, I got to do something dramatic right now. I got to do a big change, because I know if I'm feeling this and I'm seeing it, then the company is seeing it, and they're feeling it. So I want to make sure that it was just like something that's not, this doesn't become a habit, And so I just made sure that I was more focused outside of camp, and then more focused, even more so once I got into camp.
Yeah, so your whole professional career, I believe you've been with Bellator, correct?
Yes.
So can you talk to us about how you feel they've been treating you, and what I guess has kept you there for so long?
Really the relationships, man. They are real people who I can call at any time and talk to anybody in that front office in that organization. You know what I mean? They never shy away from questions or anything like that. So the directness and being like blunt forward and being able to have that contact with the matchmakers and then the company itself makes you feel more comfortable. It's more like a family feel or better business atmosphere, I guess, because this is the sports game in general is very, very shady, and sometimes you can get skewed or told some things and things don't really pan out the way they should or how they say they are. But that hasn't happened to me since I've been in Bellator. So for me, I mean, if you're straight up with me and everything happens the way you say it, then I'm happy. You know what I mean? I think people should just stick by their word, and Bellator has done that 100% by me. So I haven't had anything to complain about.
Yeah, so you have to excuse me right here. This has been on my mind since we started. We'll get back to the regular questions, but I just want to know, what are you cooking for lunch or supper right now?
I got some ground turkey. I just sauteed some onions, garlic, and bell peppers. I'm making some beans right here, and then I got some lettuce, avocado, and vegan cheese.
Having a buffet over there, I see.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm kind of meal prepping for the next few days, so I
Oh,
have,
okay.
so I don't have to do too much every time, because cooking every day gets annoying. It's a drag to eat clean, but
Yeah,
your body really loves it, so you got to do it.
for sure. So, like I said, you had to excuse me there. I was a little curious, but coming up April 2nd, we have Matt Mitrione. Something I want to talk about is this new ranking system that Bellator is implementing, which has been talked about a lot. So, does this win, I believe, in your opinion, set you up for those rankings, I guess?
I'm not too sure. I hope I'm not in the top 5, and I would have liked to be right outside the top 10. Honestly, would be perfect for me, because then it gives me the position to to target people, and I feel like that's a better position for me right now, just where I'm at in my career. But I really love the ranking system. I love this, having the rankings, because I feel like it gives a fighter more motivation.
One.
Now I see who's in front of me. I know who I have to beat. And then the people who are 1, 2, and 3, they understand. They know, okay, shit, I'm at the top of this ranking. I better be working my ass off, because 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, everybody's looking to beat me.
Mhm.
Everybody's looking to get my spot. So that for me is very motivational. I always loved the ranking system growing up in wrestling, and having that, that same kind of pressure and just motivation to perform. So I'm really excited to see where I'm at and how it takes me, where I go from there.
Okay, so we have a couple questions here. I just want to know, Matt Mitrione, what is something that he does coming from April 2nd that excites you for this matchup coming up?
Something that he does.
That excites you or intrigues you for this matchup coming up?
I mean, I would say not much. The fucked up thing, messed up thing about this is I used to train Matt
Okay.
when he was when Black Zillions was a team in Florida, and they were in the transition between Kenny Monday and Greg Jones, who is the current wrestling coach now. I think it's Stanford MMA, but which started off as Black Zillions. I was in there. Oh, are you there? Sorry.
I'm still here. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. Transitioned. Transition. So I was there for about 2 years.
Mm.
Not off and on for 2 years. So I would probably say a solid 7-8 months maybe that I was there in that 2 year span. But so I was working him in his camps. He was still in the UFC. I was training with him, and so I got to see the holes in his game at that time. I got to feel so now I feel more comfortable, I guess, stepping into this fight because it's a guy who I've practiced with before. I've seen him throw punches on me. I've wrestled him down before, so it's a little bit more comfortable, I guess. I don't have the nerves as much as I would not knowing or not have ever wrestled with him before and seen him train and things like that. But also, it's kind of that's the other side of it that's kind of upsetting. It's like, man, this guy is a friend of mine. You know, a guy who I've worked out with, trained with before. I really, you know, if it was me, up to me, I wouldn't choose to fight people that I know or have ever worked with before, just because, like, I don't want to see, I don't know, it's different. You know, I really can't answer the question because this is the first time I've ever been in that position to where I'm fighting somebody that I actually know.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that there's nothing that I'm really excited that he does, you know, coming into the fight.
Okay, so I had to ask you, were you at Black Zillions at the time? Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, I believe, were training together at that time?
Yes, they were. They were there training with each other at that time. They've been training. What most people don't know is they started training together when they both jumped into this game. Kamaru Usman was there under Rashad Evans, and Gilbert came in from the jiu-jitsu under I think it's George. I don't want to mess up his name, but who's the jiu-jitsu coach at the Black Zillions, who's very good, world-renowned jiu-jitsu practitioner. And so they both just came from different sides, and they both helped each other grow. And that's what people really don't know is these guys have literally sharpened each other to the fighter they are today. So I know that was a tough fight for both of them to go through. You know what I mean? These guys are brothers that care about each other. They have their families are intertwined with each other. Their kids hang out with each other. You know what I mean? So I know that was a tough fight for both of them.
For sure. So this last question I have for you before we can go let you eat your little buffet over there, I just have to ask, in your Instagram bio, it says something like seek no approval or like the hashtag. Can you just elaborate on what exactly you mean by that?
For me, so TACMA, that was a slogan, I guess. TACMA, which is a clothing company out of Ohio that I used to be sponsored by. It was one of their slogans, but to me, it really stuck with me because I feel like I've always lived my life in a sense of like I'm not seeking approval from anyone. I've always just tell people to love yourself and just be who you are. And for me to not seek approval, I feel like this Instagram, social media life that people live is all because I'm seeking approval from someone else. And that's why I've never really been into it. I wouldn't even have an Instagram if I didn't fight. I didn't get an Instagram until Bellator told me I had to make one. So to me, I really don't understand the social media thing. I've never really tried to seek approval from anyone. So I just wanted people, if they read my bio, to see that, like, seek no approval from anyone. Just be who you are. And if people don't accept that and don't like you, so what? There's 7 billion people on this planet. Not everybody's going to like you. Deal with it. There's going to be people who are going to be negative. They're going to hate on you. They're going to say bad things, but it's up to you to respond to it. You know, it's not my coach used to always tell me, it's not what people call you, it's what you respond to, what you answer to. So don't give those people power.